Hello, and welcome to a series on videos on how to make it to graduate school abroad with a second class lower or an HND. To avoid the information from being overwhelming, there will be a series of videos, and in today's videos, I will concentrate on credential evaluation. What is this, if you may ask? So since we all studied in different countries and we want to apply to schools in another country, these are organizations that have been set up to find the equivalent of our degree in the country of interest. To break it down, I'm Ghanaian and I want to study in the US. So I need an organization which will be a third party that is going to evaluate my transcript and give me the US equivalent. That is, assuming if I studied in the US, what will my grade be and what will I graduate with? There are a number of these educational evaluation agencies, but in today's video I'll focus on WS. And why WS? Because from stories from my friend and others, there are people who have actually evaluated their transcripts and they had an increase in their GPA. And how did this happen? For every country, there's a minimum of credit hours for them to obtain a degree. So let me use a random number. Let's say in Ghana, you need 300 credit hours to be able to get a bachelor's degree. But maybe in the US, you need 250 credit hours. So for every extra credit hour you get, not like for every extra credit, for the extra credits you've gotten, this will help boost your grade. So this is what happens for the boosting of grades. So take your pens, take your papers, open your laptops, and let's have a look at how the WS looks like and how to send in your application to be evaluated. So this is how the WS interface looks like. I'll leave the link of how to access it in the description box, or you could just go to Google and type WS credential. This credential is normally used for the US or Canada. So this is the US interface. And I will talk about Canada if I would advise you, my thoughts on that, if I would advise you to go ahead to do it or not. But if you have a lower or an HND, I do suggest you use it for the US. Even if it's not a lower or an HND, like maybe you have really close to jumping to another level. Let's say you have maybe a second class lower and you need something to get to a second class upper. This helps because from the people I know and from the stories I've heard, I know people who, when they did the evaluation, they did increase their grade points. And this is for the US. And this is how it works. Because the US have a certain number of credit hours you need to achieve your bachelor's degree, maybe from your country, either Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, wherever you are from, maybe you require more credit hours to get your bachelor's degree. So when they are converting it into the American system, you have extra credit hours, and this is what happens for your grade points to increase. So for anybody who is looking at increasing their grade points, I suggest you use an evaluation credential organization. It doesn't necessarily have to be WS. You could just find out other ones. And even if the school doesn't require it, if you have an HND, you have a lower, you need to improve your grades. When you are submitting your transcript, just add the evaluation to it and submit it together. So let's have a look at this. Is the portal. And as I said before, there are two types, the document by document and a course by course. I would advise you do a course by course. This is what helps to improve your GPA. And some schools require a course by course. So even if you do a document by document and the school requires a course by course, you have to spend extra money to do the course by course. So just spend the money from the beginning and do that. Now this is how the Canadian WS looks like. So you just have to change to Canada. And so for Canada, I wouldn't really advise you do a WS evaluation. If you really want to do this, I think you should send the school an email to tell them that you graduated maybe with a lower, or you have an HND and you want to do a master's program. Can you use WS to evaluate your transcript? And if they say yes or no, you can go ahead with it. The reason is because like the educational system or the qualifications they require to enter into Canadian universities are a bit high and it's a bit competitive. So even if you do the evaluation, you are competing with others with really high grades, you still don't make it, because you're having people who are even making first class or second class up and they are not making it into Canadian universities. So for if you still want to go to Canada, I would suggest you do a postgraduate diploma. And in the subsequent video, this is something I will talk much about. For today, we are looking at the WS evaluation. So this is a sample of how your evaluation will look like once it's done. They have the details and they have, like, based on the course, the US semester credits and the grades, and they give you your GPA over 4 in the US, and they send it to the school, or you could also request for a copy. Now let's look at the cost involved. So as I said, there are two types based on the document by document and the course by course. For the course by course, they are taking 208, and for the basic, they are taking 163. This happens if you want them to send to your institution. So if you want them to send to you have to pay more. And for every number of institution, you actually also have to pay more. So like these are some of the additional fees you could take your time and look through. So as you can see, each additional report is $30. So each duplicate, like once you send to once, if you want more, you have to pay $30. And for the document by document, this is 147 and the basic is 102. I do suggest you go for the course by course, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide. And I found one last thing, which is a bonus I'm going to share with you, and that's for Germany. Like, what do you have to do or what is required of you? This information is on the DAD portal. The DAD is like, when it comes to Germany, they really have a lot of information. So the first thing is you have to select your country, and I selected Ghana. Then you select your type of degree. I chose an HND, and this is what they said: your possibility of admission. With your educational background, you qualify for direct subject restricted admission only to University of Applied Sciences for studies in the subject area of your previous education or related subject. I don't know much about this, but if this is something you want me to talk further on, just leave it in the comment section and I'll do more research and I'll share with you videos on how to maneuver this or what to do. But the highlight is, if you did graduate with an HND, it's really not possible for you to divert to other areas. You still have to follow the path you followed. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. If you haven't yet subscribed, do subscribe. If you like the content, do like it. And if you have any suggestions of some content you'd like me to do, just leave it in the description box. Until you hear from me again.